Those calling for President Biden to drop out of the race also include one of his biggest supporters and donors in Hollywood. You see the headline there. Actor George Clooney wrote an op-ed for the New York Times saying that even though he is a lifelong Democrat, he believes the president should drop out. Clooney went on to say, while changing nominees would be, quote, messy, he believes it is the way the party should go. And this is exactly what voters want to do. Less than a month ago, Clooney co-hosted a fundraiser with the president drawing in a record $28 million for the Democratic Party. So to talk about this and more, we have our political experts joining us now here at the roundtable. Once again, on the Democratic side, Ed Emerson, Republican side, Tim Rosales. Guys, appreciate you being back here. Last time we spoke, it was immediately after that disastrous debate. And I don't know if any of us anticipated. I think we're almost 14 days. This story has had legs, as we like to say, in the industry. And I know we talked about the members of Congress and George Clooney, mega donor, actor, beloved in Democratic politics. But what stood out to me was when I watched that interview with former Speaker Nancy Pelosi today on Morning Joe. Speaker Pelosi, whether you like her or not, she's a very calculated politician, and she doesn't say things mistakenly. She knows what she is doing. And when she said to those hosts, he has a decision to make, he's already made the decision, Ed.
Yeah, there's
that
no
was
question.
A nudge, right?
It's funny, I was telling Tim backstage, okay, Mr. President, we feel like your debate performance, maybe you should consider stepping aside. And he went, okay, I'm not stepping aside. And everyone went, wait, that's not the decision we thought you were going to make.
It's almost like when you talk to your teenager and you say, okay, you got two decisions here. We're going to let you make it. And they make the wrong one. They're like, okay, we're going to ask you again.
We're going to ask the question. He said, it's up to Joe. And here I am as a lifelong Democrat, a yellow dog Democrat, which means I'd vote for a yellow dog before I'd vote for a Republican. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, he is our guy. He's been a great president, 200,000 more jobs. The other guy is the bum in the room. I mean, we got to defeat Donald Trump. I think right now, this moment is the time for Kamala Harris to step forward. She's going to be a great candidate. She's a good person. I think Joe has done his service. I think this could happen at the convention. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's.
So that's how you're leaning. It sounds like you're leaning towards you believe he's going to step aside here. And just for folks who might be new to this segment, if you are, where you been? But I mean, you've worked in Democratic politics for a very long time. You were in the Clinton White House. You have been through scandals before. You know how these things sort of, can work themselves out. Right. And you have been talking to a lot of folks that are high up, advisors in Democratic politics. And this is where they want the president to go. But it just seems like he's not going to agree with them. I mean, how at this point does Joe Biden say, okay, wait a minute, I think you guys are right? Because now, I believe late this afternoon, he was challenging George Clooney's stamina. Yeah. And that seems like something that they accused Donald Trump of doing.
Right. Everybody in that position, Republican or Democrat, has an ego, right? And you're not president of the United States without a pretty big ego. Mm-hmm. You have to have it.
Right. It's not a bad thing. You have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I can run the free world.
Right. You have to think pretty highly of yourself to do the job that you have to do every day. And I think that's where President Biden is right now. He's looking in the mirror and saying, of course I can do this job. And I think there are people around him who are saying, of course you can do this job. And I think there's a faction within the Democratic Party who's starting to be more and more vocal. We saw it from Speaker Pelosi today. We saw it from George Clooney. We're seeing it from donors and that type of thing. One senator from Vermont and some members of Congress are saying maybe you need to reconsider. Maybe you need to look at what is best, not only for the party but for the country. Because ultimately, we're picking a president in November for the next 4 years. So you're taking a look at either of these two individuals and saying, forecasting, where are you 2 and 3 and 4 years from where we are today?
You're also shaping Congress potentially for the next 10 when you're talking about the Senate, right? And that's where you're seeing a lot of folks that are in these tight spots like John Tester in Montana. I mean, of course, out here in California, we're a deep blue state. There are some districts congressionally that could be potentially not great for the Democrats, but you have Sherrod Brown, you have John Tester. Those, I mean, we're talking about if if Democrats are looking down ballot, that's where the concern too is, right, Ed?
It's always tough down ballot because if it were up to me, and it's not, thank God, I wouldn't spend a dime in Florida or Ohio if I was the National Democratic Party.
Okay.
I just wouldn't go there. I mean, we spend so much money. It's down ticket. It's these congressional races. It's these Senate races and assembly races for the State House. It's so important that we show a unified front and push through. Biden goes on television in Florida, and they're great ads, but he's going to get beat by 20 points. But we still have to run the ads for those folks. And it's frustrating because I believe it's a waste of money.
Well, and even in California, we're a deep blue state, but you have House seats, congressional seats that are up for grabs. Some here just locally within.
Yeah, we have Adam Gray, John Doherty. What was that, decided by like 40 votes or something?
Adam Gray, John, and Doherty. You've got Kevin Lincoln, Josh Harder. I mean, you've got these seats that are marginal Democratic and Republican seats that could go either way, and people vote based on the top of the ticket.
Right.
That is a huge, huge motivator, particularly in obviously in presidential elections, but in off-year elections too. But in presidential elections, people are turning out to vote for president, and that impacts every race down ticket.
And I just want to drill down on this too, just for our folks at home that might not be following these congressional races, because when we were talking about this election season, it was the battle for the House and the Senate. And Adam Schiff said it on Meet the Press on Sunday. He's like, Joe Biden should be wiping the floor with Donald Trump, and he's not. So this is the new concern for Democrats. And I found that this was very interesting too. There's a House seat down in Riverside, I believe, California 39, Mark Takano.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big Biden seat, and now Trump is beating Biden, and that's Riverside County.
Yeah.
And Trump is now winning, and I just think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens over really the next few days. But I also wonder about this theory. Okay, so we talk about this a lot. In terms of trust in government and Congress, it's at an all-time low, right?
Sure.
People also hate the media. Not local media, but national media. They hate national media. They hate cable news. They think it's, they think everybody's biased. They don't feel like they're being told the truth every single night. So then you have Joe Biden all of a sudden on his heels saying, you know what, I'm not going to listen to the elites. I'm not going to listen to George Clooney.
Suddenly
I'm not going to listen to the
elite?
press.
Is that what you said?
Well, and that's what I thought was interesting too. It's like, okay, the elites that told Bernie Sanders to step aside in the last election cycle because he couldn't win and Joe Biden could.
Right.
But we'll put that theory aside. But do you think that I go back to, the whole Bill Clinton special counsel, Ken Starr, it turned Bill Clinton into a victim in a way.
Right.
Do you think that Joe Biden can ride this out where he sees, people don't like Congress, they don't trust politicians, they don't trust government, and they don't trust the national media, and they're all railing against Joe Biden?
It's part of the calculation. There's no question. You have to put your best foot forward, and you have to put your best candidate forward. The old axioms come to mind. You can't beat somebody with nobody. Joe Biden needs to make that decision. He's made a decision, and we disagree. I think he's got to step up. I think he has to step aside. I think doing it at the convention would be an opportunity to elevate and blow Kamala through the roof, so to speak, on Air Force One. I think it is an opportunity for us to go back and focus on what a bum Donald Trump is.
Well, speaking of Donald Trump,
Yeah.
I won't describe it the way you did, but how do you feel that he has played this?
I think he's played it perfectly. He's kept his, keep your head down.
Not a lot of comments?
Not a lot of comments. I think, letting the Democrats kind of fight and kind of have this battle internally and not get in the way. Because, also the Democrats have another problem, and they're looking at these options. Okay, who would replace Joe Biden? And their big problem is, sure, you can take a Ferrari body and put it on a bad engine, but you still have an unreliable car. And so any of these other personalities that they're talking about, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, others.
Pritzker,
name them.
Pete
Buttigieg, right.
They all are flawed candidates in some way.
And they don't have the name ID too.
Right, and there is, but I do think the Democrats won't do this, but someone like an Andy Beshear from Kentucky, or a Southern Democrat, or a more moderate Democrat, who could really appeal, I think that is a really tough sell for a lot of Democrats on the more progressive side, and that's the side that's controlling the party right now, to do. So, the fact is I don't see a candidate that can come in and do demonstrably better than what Joe Biden is doing right now for the Democrats. I think that's part of the problem.
and just, we have to go, but I just want to make it clear. You think he's going to step aside?
I think we're going to have some serious thinking going on at the White House, and I think that'll be the conclusion.
Okay. More to come still. Whoever had this on their bingo card?
Nobody.
No one.
No one.
All right. Guys, appreciate it as
Thank you.
always. Love the civil discussion.
Always.
Yeah. We can bring Tim on, and he's not a Republican that's going to dunk on you, Ed.
Thank you.
In your time.
You could have been easy.
Sorrow.
Although I am taller.
You are totally.
Guys, thanks so much. We appreciate it.